Okay, everyone, welcome back to Sorare Strategy. I feel first I need to maybe apologize. I've been away for a little while, but just some much needed family time, a few little getaways, some camping trips, a little bit of renovation, helping my wife launch her business and mine. I launched a business a few months ago, so just a few things on the home front. But I have been doing some work behind the scenes and kind of ready to jump back in. And before we get going on this, maybe I'll kind of share with you the outlook going forward. So um, these types of videos where I kind of show the weekly participation rates and win percentages and things like that, they're gonna come weekly and maybe twice a week if I can get up to that cadence. But I also have two other pieces that I've been working on again in the background. So one is around kind of a player evaluation tool. So something I've been building from scratch. I don't know, call it an algorithm, I suppose, but I mean, I think it's in my typical form. It's kind of just taking the data that's right there, putting some pieces together in a unique way, and trying to show something that can help us in looking at the thousands of players that are there in cards and try and make the right decision. So pretty proud of it. Actually, it's simple, but it also has some thought and some rationale behind it. So those will be kind of different video series that I'll go through. And then the third area that I'm going to focus on is around trading and making better trades and things, which is actually a topic that I used to write for Pro Football Focus, so NFL fantasy football website. And I focused kind of on that, sort of the nuances of making trades and all of that sort of thing. And so bringing a bit of that, I don't know, psychology and strategy into this. So anyway, stay tuned for that. But you're here for this week and how things are looking. And if you have subscribed and you've been watching some of the videos, I hope you'll see I've taken things to a new level. So let's have a look quickly. So first, what you'll see is massive innovation here with the color scheme, darker borders. I mean, this is what we used to deal with. So, Sorare likes to innovate and keep advancing the game, and over here at Sorare Strategy, it's no different. I kid. I mean, I did want to make this just a little easier to read for everyone, and you'll see some new rows here that I'll get into in a sec. So I've flipped it around, so if you do look at previous weeks, you'll see that the columns have been switched. I think this is more intuitive. So you have the number of participants, how many get paid out, and then the win percentage of that, and then we go in after that game week is finished, and we fill in the winning points. So again, I'm gonna the link to this is down below. So this is a shared document that you guys can have a look at yourself. So we're currently in this week. So this is a Monday morning here where I am. So I don't have the winning points of this yet. We're getting pretty close. And of course, the cutoff date for this one is coming up in maybe around 18 hours or so. So let's just look at a couple things that I've done here. And first off, the lighter color here is your global, is your Division 4 and what I'm calling T3. So a good suggestion by one of the viewers was to include the T2 prize level in Div 4, because really that's a better comparison to the prize level of Div 3. So if you're trying to make a decision between, do I go in Div 4, what do I need? How many points do I need to get to that T2 level versus just going into Div 3 and trying to get that T2 level? Because one of the things I made this comment maybe a video or two ago. The one thing that kind of bugs me, I mean, a prize is a prize, and it's always nice to win something. But the cards that you get at the T3 level, my argument here is that the roster that you need to compete and to potentially win a T3 card means that the T3 card you get doesn't help your roster, if that makes sense. So they're kind of worth, I don't know, 0.03 to 0.06 maybe Ethereum. They likely won't help you if you have a team that's winning consistently here. So they're nice to have. You can flip them probably pretty easy, and maybe you'll luck out. Maybe there's one that's sitting there that's actually just ready to pop. So Not terrible, but I do think that when you get to T2, you actually get some pretty recognizable names, some up and coming players. You get players that could be worth upwards of zero point 0.2, maybe 0.25 Ethereum. A lot of the ones I'm finding are like 0.15, that kind of range. So these guys start to actually matter, I think, more to your collection. So this is exciting. Try not to dig into this just yet because I'm going to walk you through it a little. But let's just start with just how we were originally, which is this T3 level. Last weekend, we saw something fairly common that Global All Stars is maybe a more difficult one to win. It's starting to get easier because they're really trying to flush a lot of cards through right now. So it's got better percentages than the past. Global U23 has been a consistent high payout. So 18%. This one was low 7, but 14, 15 here, 20, and so on. That one I really think can be mined a little bit. So, look at that. Thanks. So the U23 is one that I would definitely target, and the winning points for this one was quite low, considering that it's effectively a global division, just under 23. That was certainly attainable by a lot of people, I'd imagine. Challenger Europe was just getting started. This one's kind of interesting. I'll show you this one in terms of how I was playing it. So only eight people were paid out at the Div. There's only one match, so 8 people were paid out at the Div 4 level and 3. So basically I was looking at this and the percentage was a little better, 3 out of 36 versus 8 out of 121. I decided to roll the dice considering there was only one game. That my team was maybe strong enough. I didn't have a keeper. I had a backup Galatasaray keeper, but the other guys were starters. I have a Galatasaray, two Galatasaray bundles that basically helped me in this week. So, but there's only 3 positions, and in theory there'd be a number of better players out there that have better rosters than me. So I was taking a bit of a gamble, but I'll show you how that kind of played out for me because it is kind of worth learning from. So I actually came in second, which is cool. So I got with only 207 points. I mean, I had no chance coming in first there, but and this was in Div 3. Now, so what I got was I got a tier 2 rare, and I got 0.05 Ethereum, who ended up being this Emmanuel Omega. So young guy forward, pretty happy with this. I think this price is probably low. I'm not looking to sell at this area. I feel that this guy could probably get into this area before I'd consider selling. But the what's interesting is, so remember this, 207 points. So if I had maybe not been gutsy and gone into Div 4, I got to go into all results here. So 207 were my points. I would have finished 5th. I would have beat this guy out. And 5th, of course, sorry, I missed the, got to go back now to this there. 5th would have just got me a tier 3 rare, so no Ethereum, and instead of a tier 2, a tier 3. And I looked it up, and the guy ended up winning this guy. So not bad as well, not that far off, so maybe a bad example, but I do think ultimately 20-year-old mid in the Jupiler, I'll take this guy, and I have hardly done any research on either of them, but it goes to show that really, which is where I'm kind of getting at with a lot of this, is that sometimes taking a chance and jumping into Div 3 can really pay off for you. In this case, it actually finished higher, which might be counterintuitive. So, again, Champion Americas, Champion Asia, Special Weekly paid at a pretty high rate. Asia, you didn't need a lot of points, and America, not too bad, about kind of average, I suppose. Weekly will always Special Weekly will always have a bit of a higher premium. So, but now I want to look at this separation I made between Div 4 Tier 2 and Div 3. So again, just looking at these 2 rows, so the slightly darker shades, This now is a little more apples to apples. This means you're going to win roughly a comparable card, whether you played in Div 4 or Div 3. And what we see here is really interesting. You actually have a higher chance of winning, so less people are coming in, and of course the payout is decent enough that you have a higher win percentage in most, if not all. Let me see. Yeah, in all of the Div 3. So just from a pure percentage point of view, you're better off. And if you look here at like Asia, the actual winning points for that level was identical. And so you needed 236 points regardless. But here you have a 21% chance of winning had you had that. Now, the difference though, of course, is your level of risk. So, if you get 235 points, you get nothing. Whereas if you had 235 points, you would have fit nicely into this area. You still would have come away with a tier 3 card. So and of course up in Global All-Star, you also get the Ethereum bonuses and things like that. So you do have to weigh that for sure. But I would say, this is another in Global, basically the same amount of points, but over double the chance of winning. And, if you really are going for a card that'll improve your roster, I say, get more lineups into Div 3, and forego that sort of consolation of getting a tier 3 card. There was one here that's, really interesting. Like, I showed you that one where you needed just such a massive amount of points to get to that level. To get to a tier 2 card, you need 366 points in Div 4. A lot of these people that played in this would have been smarter to just get into Div 3 there. And then, here you do see a little bit of discrepancy. So you needed more points in Champion America to get this. But again, the payout percentage was higher too. So it's possible that, if I had known these numbers ahead of time, maybe I would have just played it safe and played in Champion America Div 4. Because the threshold was certainly a little bit lower there. So this is what we're going to see going forward, and we're going to look at this and try and kind of play these numbers out. I think, of course, this week isn't done yet this weekend, but let's just have a quick peek. Where did I put that? Yeah, that's here. So if we just look at Div 4 or Global All-Star, yeah. So 143rd in Div 4 right now. This number will change a bit. There's a few more games here on Monday. But that's here. That's 330 points. And so say we just pencil that in for a second. And then 92nd place in Div 3. What did I say? 92nd? Yeah. So 316. So, again, not huge, but still enough. That's enough of a gap that every little bit helps, and then the higher percentage of winning. Again, you also, with Global All-Star, you get the Ethereum threshold, so you might have just played it safe in Div 4. But I have a feeling we're going to see this quite commonly. We're going to see that you actually have a better chance of percentage-wise, and that you actually need slightly lower points or equal points in most of these as we go forward. It's going to be interesting to see over the next little while. So looking ahead into this coming game week, we see a lot of this. So one of the things, as I showed there, again, if you think you can if you're trying to play for those tier 2 cards that are just a little better, in every instance, the payout is so much better. In Challenger Europe, it's so much greater. You actually have more payouts than you have here in Div 4. So, this is the call you have to make. But as you can see, at just about every level, and in some instances, the payout percentage is even higher than the tier 3 payout. So obviously you can expect that the points required will be slightly higher. There will be the odd anomaly like this one over here, but I don't think that'll happen often. This, again, Challenger Europe had just one match that week, so there'll be some funny things there. But for the most part, what we're seeing is better chance of winning because less people are playing in these, and only a slightly greater increase, if not equal, amount of points needed compared to a tier 3, and then interestingly, actually, oftentimes less points. This is my prediction. Less points than getting a tier 2 card in the Div 4 category. If that makes sense. Hopefully that all makes sense. It's a bit. Sometimes you got to stare at this a bit and play around with it. So that's my update. Hope this makes sense. Again, click the link below, and it's a read only, because I don't want people playing around with it and tampering it and changing stuff. But you can copy and paste it and put it into your own or whatever, or leave some questions and comments, or chat to me on Reddit or Discord or something like that. All the links are below. And and like and stuff. I need some help. I need people to find out who I am. I'm still just a little minnow in this so rare world. So thanks so much. We'll talk again soon. Bye bye.